We'll get to that. All right.
It gets boring looking at us. That's what he's saying.
You can only look at him.
I know, he does that very nicely, but why don't you, I mean, if you want to film them for a while.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was a really pleasant interview. I was about to say, just like she said, that was really cool. And so today I'm going to be doing an interview we have our own little segment here that we just whipped up for you guys. It is an interview with this lovely person. Remind us of your name real quick.
Jadah Bearden.
Jadah Bearden. I'm going to say, it's nice to meet you. And so I guess, what do you know about the archives?
I honestly, I appreciate it because it's a wonderful opportunity to see how far we've come. I believe that history gives us this beautiful glimpse of where we've been, where we're going, and where we want to be, right? And I feel like CCTV's archive is, thank you, you're good. CCTV's archive is honestly, I love since Richard Kemp and so on, Mark Hughes, and now the Richard Kemp Center with Christine Hughes, the executive director. That legacy of anti-blackness and combating anti-blackness, and combating anti-Zionism. I think that is truly what the CCT archives provides.
And I guess talking a little bit more about, you referenced a lot of history, especially with the archives and much as it captures, but I'm more interested in, I guess, your own history with CCTV. How long have you known these guys, or how long have you known about this sort of stuff?
Well, I started in Vermont in 2018. Thank you. You're good. As a college student, I came from Texas to Champlain College as a law student, 18-year-old, and I think since I've been in Vermont, I've been aware that this was a resource for the community and also for the global community, right? Because this is recorded and this is available for us. So yeah, since 2018, I've been participating in the archive.
That's wonderful. And I guess, well, obviously you've been doing this for a little bit, I assume. But that's really interesting. You said you came here as a lawyer. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that? Yeah, I guess a lot of lawyer being on
nice
law.
Of you. Thank you. Well, I feel legally speaking, everything that is lawful isn't always good, right? And I think it is our responsibility as people to draw boundaries, right? Because the law can only go so far. And then our morals and our integrity and love and accountability, I think that is the recipe for true justice.
That's really wonderful. I like the way you put that. And I guess talking more about that and about, justice and the actual law and whether or not it applies to people and whether or not it's actually good to have. A lot of what the archive, I'm assuming, well, I know actually, a lot of what the archive has is stuff that would be in agreement to that, or stuff that would demonstrate just human history and would show whether things are true or not. And so I guess what are some of your favorite things in the archives, or what do you really like, what is the best part about the archives that you really like about it and that really shines what you like about it?
Very easy. I honestly, my favorite is Tea Talks with Miss Lydia. Shout out to Trav and Miss Lydia Diamond. That segment honestly is so healing because I get to see a Black elder woman speak truth to power every Wednesday, or I forgot, I think it's 2 Wednesdays a month maybe. But yeah, I think that is needed, and I think we need more of that. And I'm glad that Reverend Mark Hughes also has juxtaposition, and we have the legacy of Richard Kemp with his show as well. So yeah, that past, present, future dynamic of speaking truth to power and allowing Black people at the center. I think that is what is important about CCTV all these years, right?
And I do think, it's really interesting actually how you mentioned a lot about Black Power, how, I think CCTV's done a great job representing and really pushing, us into the stratosphere and, giving us more of an outward sort of just more publicity and just really putting a focus on the struggles that you're going through. And so I'm wondering, talking more about Black Power, you mentioned a couple examples, but are there some other examples at TTV that you would think would represent,
I think
those ideals?
Originally back in 2023, I signed up to lead my own segment, and it was just going to be about accountability and Black Power. I was arrested and held for like 88 days in the Berlin, Vermont psych ward against my will. It's called an involuntary hold. And honestly, that was like the completion. I thought it was the I thought it was the beginning of a very traumatic experience, but it was like sort of like the finale. And I guess just recently, when I signed up to do About Time, that was scheduled for 12:15 this morning, I really wanted to sort of conclude Black Power and anti-Zionism with that. But unfortunately, I was picked up again by Colchester PD, and now I live in Colchester, but when I got here, like I said, I was living in Burlington. And yeah, Burlington, and back in 2019, a little before the pandemic, I experienced the most traumatic, abusive, toxic dynamic, and it was between me and Champlain College, right? And greater than that, it was just me, like kind of like hitting my head against white supremacy and the brain fuck of it, because it honestly it's not based anything logical. So we were talking about law earlier, right? In America, it was legal to own slaves, and it was legal to charter, and it was legal to take people from their homes and bring them to this promised land. But the promise was for colonizers and Europeans who honestly, word to science, word to legal, whatever you want to say, word to just fact, like Black people are ultralight beings, and and I feel like all of the fucking issues, and you can see by the archive for how many years. Like I just came in 2018, and so I've only got 7 years in the game, but my life is 25 years. Add that to Richard Kemp's legacy, and then you add my grandmother into that mix, right? You have generations. You have several generations of accountability and justice, and honestly, after all of that, we get freedom, right? So I think this is, the pandemic, and I moved to Vermont. Honestly, I just wanted to be a gay person. I just wanted to love women and be Black, because I grew up in Houston, Texas, which is very Black. And shout out to my mom and my grandmother and my sister and my brother. But I'm not a child anymore, and I'm not in need of guidance. I just need an accountable community, and I think I chose Vermont because my identity of queerness was neglected, and I wrote about this already. But to say it plainly, now I stand as a full person, right in front of like Burlington, Vermont. And who knew? And honestly, I really want to thank Town Meeting TV, because I really just realized that Vermont was the place that was promised to me. Like, it is my promised land. Like, and I don't think that's dramatic, right? Like, this is my Garden of Eden, and I just had to go back and get it, In Africa, we call that Sankofa, and now I'm sitting on the end of all of this with nothing left but me, right? And I think that's all I need. So in the name of Black Power, in the name of anti-Zionism, and also in just the name of love, like radical love and acceptance, I just want to say that like any anxiety or depression or white supremacy, right? Like that is rooted in chaos and does harm to the very nature, and I do mean nature of our people. Like, it's gone, and that is a celebration. So I want to claim that in 2020, yes, we were in a retrograde, we were in a renegade, but now we are resurrected, and this is a revolution. So celebrate, go to the Ramble today, walk around Burlington and see that our work and our labor and our accountability wasn't all for nothing.
Yeah, damn, that's I've never really seen someone put it like that before, especially seeing Vermont as a community. I mean, normally I don't see, or a lot of people, especially, coming from where I come from, is Massachusetts, a lot of people would tell me, oh, you're going to Vermont, that's all white people, you know what I mean? But we got, I guess, like you said, I think we've got a pretty solid community of people of color who really care about each other, as well as, you talked a little bit more about queer culture as well. What do you, especially growing up in Texas, what do you feel about the dichotomy between Vermont and Texas? I kind of want maybe to go a little bit more in depth in that, how this community has maybe supported you in ways that others have not, or how it's changed, or how it's different, how maybe it could be worse, or maybe it could be better.
Well, my best friend Trav, who works here, honestly, like when I met him, my life changed for the better. I think I was just reminded that I didn't have to like pay for something, or like love isn't for sale. Like, it's unconditional, and it's agape, and it's always here for you, right? Like, I thought I had to honestly, Texas, I was raised Christian, very Pentecostal Christian, like Black Christian. But honestly, that's a myth, right? Like, that Black Christianity was given to us by this white, blue-eyed adversary. It's not based in fact. What my people come from is the land and art and music. I've healed so much from just like the rhythms and the blues and the poetry of my people. And I was really appreciative of that poem that the person shared earlier about the hospital, because I started in a hospital in March of 2020. I was admitted to the ER, and that ended my Champlain College journey. And then after all those psych ward visits, I'm finally on the other end of it. Like I said earlier, I'm not asking for my reparations. I'm demanding them. Like, where they at? Vermont owes me several $1 million, so I'll be receiving that cash only. Yeah, thank you. And when I get my cash, they give it to Trav, and then when Trav gets it, make sure you give it to fucking my other friends, and my mom gets it because my grandmother's no longer living. Y'all took my grandmother from her, and I wasn't able to even say goodbye to my grandmother. So fuck you, Vermont, for that. But also thank you, Vermont, for giving my grandmother the world. Like, my grandmother has heaven now, and now heaven is a place on earth. So all that to say, like I just said, I'm not asking for reparations, and you don't have to ask for something that's already yours, right? So thank you, CCTV, for like giving me like the power like back, right? Like, because it was always mine, and y'all really like give platform to people, to all people, because all power to all people, not just who has the mic for now, or who has the currency, or who has the Tesla, right? Like, fuck off. Like, we are here. I'm queer, and I'm just ready to live my life. And lastly, I would just like to say, like, I'm just like really, like, I want my shit back. Sankofa, right? Like, give me my shit back, and give me all my roses, and just like place them at my feet. Amen.
Wow, right. Very, very powerful. Wow, look at that. You know what you want. You want to go get it. I respect that. Kind of talking about that. So I guess that was a lot of stuff, though. You definitely got like a lot of ideas that you're throwing out here right now. It's kind of hard to make questions for it.
They're ideas. I think they're just dreams that I'm actualizing, and I just have like manifestation is not just this like we all like when I say people power, I mean people power. Like, when I put my hand up, like, shit just moved. Like, shit just moved for my better. Like, I also, I forgot to say this. Yes, I'm queer. Yes, I'm Black. But I'm also mentally ill and neurodivergent. But that is not a disability. It is the source of all of my power. So now I'm just going to dance and move within my power from here on.
And do you think the community has done anything to support you, at least mentally health-wise, or something like that?
Yeah. Y'all tried to kill me. Like, that's what, like, what? Like, y'all really tried to kill me out here. And I'm not even being dramatic. Like, I almost died 3 times in Vermont. Like, the only time I ever knew something was right with my brain was when I became a college student. And when I became a college student, that's when I became a person of color. What the fuck is a student of color? I'm not color, bro. Like, I'm the rainbow. So, like, I'm not going to repeat myself. Like, y'all tried to kill me. And you know what? You did. It was an ego death. It had to happen. So that person that came here back in 2018, this like wide-eyed. Yeah, sorry, you good. I just had to like, where's this?
Yeah, sorry.
Hi. Yeah, this like that wide-eyed, like naive 18-year-old with all that hair, you know, she's gone, you know, and now I'm everything. And everything is love, you know, like from just me like saying my name, like in the beginning of the show, like me giving love and gratitude to my best friend Trav, and just me like entering this space and me coming, like me betting on me and moving and transitioning and changing. Like I did this already. I'm just realizing that now. It only took 7 years for me to, I'm a slow learner, but like it took me 7 years to realize the minute I chose Vermont, the minute I bet on Jadah, like my life was mine. And all that extra shit was just a dream.
You in control of your life now, so now you got the power.
I woke up.
And I think
Stay woke.
it's important to to record. I guess it's important to record stories like that. People like you who've been like struggled and been through a lot of stuff and had moments of self-actualization to realize what you need to do. And I think it's important that we have stuff like the archives. Wouldn't you agree? Or would you think it's important that the archives capture not just the overall bigger picture, but what else do you think is important for the archives to have, or especially for the future going forward? You know, just because we have them now doesn't mean that we can't obviously continue to do better in the future. So what do you think we should really have in the archives? Is important for people to learn back and remember about us.
Yeah, you're really just missing more black people, honestly. And I think the excuse, because it was an explanation, it was an excuse, was like, oh, it's Vermont, there's no black people. Yes, there is. Like, and you have one of the most brilliant ones on your staff already. So just like give him more power, right? Like trust him to like, just like, you know, be y'all's light. And y'all will see, like, if you bet on black every time, you will get everything, okay? Like, stop playing with our shit and just give it back. And also, CCTV, I think y'all are already doing it, right? Y'all are allowing people to speak their truth, and that is the only way through. And we're already out, right? I can see the horizon, but through the horizon, because we have to keep going, like the work is never done, a true revolution, a true garden of roses, like in order to like tend to our garden, tend to our community, and repair and restore and amend for all of the bullshit fuckery of white supremacy, bet on black. That's all.
I bet. So, hey, bet on black, you know? Hey, oh my God, Megan's clapping. No, I support that. Dude, that was a really great idea. And so overall, just having more presentation of black culture in the archives, you think is important, right? So I think, and you talked a little bit about how some ways we could do that, right? Obviously, you know, Travis on the staff has been one, literally, I'm talking, he orchestrated this whole thing, all right? This whole thing, especially when you obviously would support other people, but he's definitely a big part of it. He's down, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's like, you know.
Thanks, like thoughts and prayers gonna get us so far, like.
Yeah, no, he definitely.
It ain't about the money, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he deserved the bag. He deserved the bag. He put in a lot of work. But I guess, you know, talking some more about that, what do you think are some other ways that not only the archives could do it, but, you know, people as a community could continue to work and support black culture? What could we do to make sure that, you know, we are no longer trapped by the system and try to really, you know, push the movement forward, you know, including the media as well as all the other stuff? What are some ways you're thinking about?
Yeah, I would love to be, like, able to, like, continue a segment, because that's what I signed up for, right? Like, I kept signing up, and I knew this was a space that would platform me, and that's why I was so, like, ready and willing to share. But every time it seemed like I had to, and this is not on CCTV, I think this is just, like, speaks to the like, hold that racism and anti-blackness has on the world, right? Like, just because a platform or an organization like sets out to do good and to right the wrongs and also to like hold space for truth, evil and darkness and the lie of white supremacy will continue to stick its like, you know, teeth in our like shit. So now, honestly, like, you being here, like, providing me this platform, and also just like, you know, like, I think it's everything is like poetry and everything has meaning. Like, you holding the mic for me, and you like telling me, no, the camera is this way. Like, you telling me as a staff here, and Megan in the back, right? Like, y'all are sort of like allowing me finally the space to just be. And I don't have to come through Mark Hughes or Christine Hughes or Miss Lydia even, right? I can just be my own fucking person and just say, no, like, what I went through in Vermont was trash, and it shouldn't have happened, and it didn't have to happen, but it happened because I allowed it. And I allowed it because I knew the greater good was not just for me. Because in 2018, I was fine. Like, I was living my best life. But as soon as I started to like call out Champlain College for their fuckery, Miriam Horn using the hard R N-word. I don't care if you're reading a black man's words. You keep that shit out your white mouth. Remember when I moved up from a professor and I moved up to the administration, Champlain College, the institutional racism, and then y'all came at me and accused me of rape. Remember that? And you called me an abuser when I was only 19, and I had to hold my 19-year-old self as a survivor, as someone who survived rape and domestic violence and so many other abuse in childhood. And I thought I left that shit in Texas, right? But I was met by this big boss, this final boss, and it was sold to me as academia. And it was sold to me, and I bought into it, right? You know, this capitalistic American dream where if I get the degree, and if I pay into the student loans, and if I soar and I excel, I can provide for my family from a distance. But you know what happened? My fucking grandmother got COVID and she died, okay? So I couldn't provide because my family's dead, right?
You doing all right? I'm just trying to. That was a lot that you went through, and I'm sorry that you had to go through all that. I know that sounds, and I can't tell through any lived experience of my own, but I know that is a lot of that. You know, it's a lot to struggle with, it's a lot to deal with. But you know, just knowing that.
I just think like you don't do.
Oh, okay. No, hold on. Wait a minute. I think
Like, if y'all had issues with me, y'all could have like dealt with me. Like, it wasn't like my grandmother didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, I like that was my best friend. Like, what? And she got COVID and she died on the last day of 2020. And you know, I haven't been good since then. I haven't been fine since then, man. And y'all.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That sounds extremely awful.
No, because I just thought that I could just like keep going and I could get rich and I could just like have, you know, I can move my grandmother into my house and my mom would be okay and.
Yeah. You know, hold up. You want to go take a break outside real quick? Hold up, just I just think it's you're going through something right now. So I think hold up, we just gonna. It's okay. We can just step out for a bit. You know, relax, get some water. You know what I mean? Just feel what you need to feel. Do what you got to do. All right. Your emotions are valid. Here, I got. There's some water over there. Do you want to go get it? No, you don't gotta be on camera no more.
Okay, I'll stop. You know, but
He gets his name in the free press, it's all over.
that's
The
right.
guy's
Now
just
he's
lost
an
it
enormous
all.
ego. He thinks
Takes
he's a
all
creative
kinds of-
artist.
All kinds of.
Put the camera on this guy.